Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another video. Today we're talking about 4 awesome things that have come out of patch 2.7. So we've done all the testing on PTR, we've played it for a couple of weeks, so we're just gathering our thoughts together. This is going to be a big patch. Hands down, this is one of the most exciting and important patches the game has had for a long time. I've got 5 things on the list. We normally do 5 awesome things, so I've only put 4 in the title. We do have a 5th thing. I'm not sure it's awesome. I think some people might feel like that, but I think a lot of people will probably view it as a bit of a negative, but it is big news and we will talk about it as well. But I am getting ahead of myself. Do consider subscribing if you're new to the channel and you enjoy Diablo 3. We will have plenty more guides, tip videos, news, all that good stuff coming. As always, a thumbs up brightens my day. So jumping in and looking at the first awesome thing from the 2.7 PTR, and this is the follower rework. Now, being honest, this is something that I never thought we'd see in this game, and it is absolutely phenomenal. Now, what happens is the follower, traditionally in Diablo 3, hasn't really been much use. We probably all use the Templar, occasionally maybe the Enchantress for some attack speed, and only the craziest of adventurers will use the Scoundrel. But now the followers have all had their skills reworked, so they are all much more useful. So the Templar is still kind of the defensive option, giving support to help stay alive. We've got the Enchantress, again, offering some cooldown and attack speed, so a bit more kind of utility DPS. And the Scoundrel now just providing some raw extra damage. They all give you a cheat death now as well, which is absolutely fantastic. This is great news for hardcore. And all in all, the skills just make them much more viable. Now, the biggest part of the follower change is that they can have 13 gear slots, and that is over and above their relic that they normally have equipped. Even bigger still is that these powers sometimes will emanate. So some items in the game you can put on your follower, and the power from that item will emanate to your character. So for example, you can put Nemesis braces on any of your followers. That is an emanation power, and it will be like your own character is wearing Nemesis braces. So whenever you click a pylon, you will get yourself an elite to kill. This is obviously great news for progression, great news for the game. Now there's a big list of emanation powers. I will link the original blog post in description, but the big one's probably going to be your Flavor of Time necklace, which will give you double pylon durations. You can take Sage's set for extra DBs. You can take a Broken Crown for some extra gems. You can take Kane's set for extra keys as well. So this is just absolutely fantastic news for solo players. Now, I've played this game for thousands and thousands of hours. Probably about 90% of that, maybe 95% has been solo casual, and these changes are simply phenomenal. We will be able to get more keys, more resources, we'll be able to do things quicker, and we are adding power to the solo play only, because obviously when you group, you're not allowed to take your follower with you, so obviously this only adds to single player. It makes T16 a breeze, it adds plenty more materials, it also helps with GR speeds. Again, we've got Nemesis, we've got Flavor of Time, and we also get some help on push, because again, Nemesis is going to be important, Flavor of Time. Hopefully we get some more powers to emanate later. I do think that this is a list that will add and grow. You never know, in the live version maybe we'll get a few more powers added, or maybe they'll be added over time. The way to think of this really is it's kind of like having a cube slot for solo characters. There are certain things that will go in there that obviously will benefit you. So all in all, this is taking the game into a much better direction. It reminds me a little bit more of Diablo 2 now, where obviously you used to have mercenaries who would help. Now, unfortunately, the followers don't really do any damage. We can't kind of use them to help in that regard at the moment. But again, this is maybe something that we could bring in future patches, and I think the framework is there to expand on this. But I'm going to enjoy playing around with the followers. We're going to enjoy taking different ones with us. We're going to enjoy all the extra goodies we're going to get from playing the game. And all in all, this is one of the best changes that I've seen since I've been making content on D3. Now, the second awesome thing is leaderboard filters. Again, this is something that I never thought we'd see in this game. Now, if you've played seasons at all on Diablo 3, you've probably been feeling like you've been pushed into meta builds, because if you want to get on the leaderboards, you pretty much have to play the best build. Not always, but 99 times out of 100 you probably will do. By example, this season I've played many classes, one of which has been Barbarian. I've tried to get Leapquake on the leaderboards. Now, I've been pushed on, I've come off, I've gone on, I've gone off. And that is simply because Whirlwind is the Barb's strongest build, and it is so much stronger than Leapquake. I have had fun trying to get it on there, but with this new change, what will happen is next season, each class will have its own separate leaderboard for each single set in the game. So there will be one for Leapquake, for Might of the Earth, there will be one for Wrath of the Waste, Immortal King on Barbarian, and so on and so forth. There's also a leaderboard for no set items, so this is your Legacy of Nightmares, Legacy of Dreams build. Now, I think this is going to add an awful lot of life to the game because it means that we don't all have to pick the meta option. If we want to try and push something, let's pick a set that sucks, the Tragul's Avatar and the Necro. If we want to go and push with that, well, we can do. There's a separate leaderboard for it. We obviously would have no chance of getting that on the main Necromancer leaderboard, but it doesn't matter because we can now go off and push that on its own separate thing. This is also a really good development tool moving forwards because it gives the devs a bit more of an idea, and the player base, I guess, as well, as to where builds stack up comparatively speaking. We can look at the list and say, for example, Marauder's Demon Hunter is 15 tiers behind the Gears of Dreadlands Demon Hunter or something like that. So it is kind of good. It'll give you an idea as to how powerful builds are. Maybe you find yourself a primal piece of a particular set. You're not sure quite on the power of it. You can go to the leaderboard filter. You can have a little look and see what other people are clearing with it. So again, it's just more information. Again, this is maybe something that could be expanded in the future, possibly with a Paragon cap on it. So we could maybe filter them out by Paragon, maybe by hours played. I know this has been discussed on the New Meta, which is a great podcast, which I would thoroughly recommend. But all in all, again, this is just a phenomenal change. I'm going to really enjoy it. I'm going to push lots of different things on stream. I'm going to try and get on as many of these boards as possible. It's very tempting to do every set for every character, but I think that will probably just cause me too many problems. But as I say, it's pretty good. And the third awesome thing is going to be the Firebird's rework for the Wizard. This is probably the Wizard's worst set. It's one of my least favourite in the game before this rework, but it has turned out pretty well. Now, on PTR, it's been absolutely crushing things, so I do think it will get nerfed. I'm not saying it's going to go to live in the condition that it left PTR, but the most important thing about this, the most important thing I can say, is it is a very fun set to play now. It's got a really interesting mechanic in terms of teleport. You reset the cooldown on teleport by channeling disintegrate stacks. They drop off very slowly, and what this basically means is that you can zip about on your Wizard. I've played pretty much every build there is to play in this game. Wizard, over the last 12 to 18 months, I probably haven't played too much of because it is difficult to nail those rifts in the kind of 2 to 3 minute range with Wizard. It is very, very hard. But with this change, with the teleport being essentially on an infinite cooldown, it's kind of like you're always playing with an in-gem, which is obviously great for the Wizard because there are lots of good weapons competing for that multiplier slot. The set is going to revolve around fire. We just need extra fire spells to detonate our disintegrate stacks. Again, Blizzard, I'm sure, will get the tuning of this set right for launch, that hopefully it is S tier, hopefully it is meta, hopefully it's very powerful. It would be really fun, I think, to play a lot of Wizard, but obviously we don't necessarily want it to be too OP. But juice yourself up with some fire damage, juice yourself up with some fire skills. This is going to be a really good time. If it goes to live in anywhere near the condition it was on PTR, I do think we're going to get quite a lot of Wizard players. And it would be so nice if we did have a season of metas where we could use a couple of Wizards. I know lots of people in my chat and community are very keen for this. Now, the fourth awesome change is going to be the Ratham rework. Now, initially on PTR, this was incredible. Probably completely overpowered and busted, and it's been scaled far back, and unfortunately now probably isn't overly viable, not particularly good build. But again, I've got confidence in the devs, I've got confidence in Blizz to buff this back up to somewhere approaching its pre-nerf level. Now, why is this so good? Well, Ratham revolves around pets, so we get to use some of the Necromancer's coolest skills here for this one. So we get to use Army of the Dead, which is just an incredible looking skill. We get lots of skeletons running towards the center of the screen, smashing stuff, sucking stuff in. We get to use revives. Revives are brilliant. We reanimate corpses. They take the form of whatever it is you killed. You can walk around with your own little personal army. And we also get to use Bone Spirit, which again is a pretty underused necro skill. We don't know exactly where the set will be up to on launch. We don't really know how the mechanics are going to be. The nerf was probably too much. And as I say, again, similar to Firebirds, I do have confidence we'll get this in the right level. But But again, even if we don't, we can use point number 2, which is the leaderboard filters, to play Ratham in whatever condition it is. And it is going to be quite good fun, I think, to see revived minions kicking around, to see Army of the Dead, and again, also using Bone Spirit for a bit of damage. And then we come to the 5th item, which I say probably isn't awesome, and that is the fact that there is no season theme. So when 2.7 goes live, when the season 23 goes live, we're not going to get any extra benefits or any extra power on the season. Now, obviously, I personally find it really fun to go through the reset. I love the loot chase. I love setting up the characters. We will get cosmetic rewards. You will still be able to get your stash tab. There's no actual season theme mechanic for this one. So maybe if you're a returning player, you don't feel the pressure to play the season, so possibly for some people it is good. For the wider player base, I think it's a little bit of a shame. I think it would have been nice if we could have got one, but I do appreciate all the dev time that's gone into the followers, the leaderboards, and the balance changes that we've discussed. Now again, we also have had mid-season buffs throughout the course of the last few seasons, so double goblins this one, double bounties the one before. I've got my fingers crossed. Pretty pleased, Blizz, for double bounties if that goes on at some point before the end of the season, preferably very early on, just to keep people motivated and keep them playing, give them that little bit of extra juice past the reset, past the gear grind again. You never know what's going to happen. We could well end up with a season theme before it goes live, but I think that's very, very unlikely. And I think the best we will get is a season buff. So whether that's a good thing, whether that's a bad thing, as I say, I probably view it as definitely not awesome. I always like there being an interesting season mechanic. I like being rewarded for playing a seasonal character. Generally speaking, you can get more XP on the season because obviously you've got, whether it's shadow clones, a 4th cube slot, an open cube, or whatever it is. But as I say, fingers crossed we do get the double bounties at some point. That's it, guys. That's pretty much all the news to come out of 2.7. I think it's a very exciting time for the game. These changes are very, very unexpected, and I'm really excited to see where we're going to go next with the game. I've been the Filthy Casual. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and come see me on stream if you can. Come say hello. Always love meeting people from the YouTube videos. I'll see you out there in Season 23 and Sanctuary. Take it easy. Peace.